I just swapped a BMW diesel engine into a Nissan Patrol, and today, at last, I plan on driving it out of the shed under its own steam. Let's see how it all goes. Oh, what did I do? Did I wreck my wall? We got heaps of work smashed out. Hold on to your hats and watch that wheel. The budget's totally blown. Keep that quiet from Sean. Stole the battery out of my junker, because at the end of a build, things are getting expensive. So that's sketchy. I don't like how slow that's cranking. Why? Like, it just freaks me out. Keep trying to, it's isn't it? Now, last time you guys saw this thing, I finally got it started and I was smiling ear to ear. What you didn't see though was I had fuel pouring out everywhere, the shifter wasn't mounted, things like that. The car was just started and I didn't drive it. Now, in this episode, it's a big call, but I'm gonna say it. Everything's gonna be plumbed up and the M57 conversion is gonna be 100% complete. Shifter mounted up. I'm gonna be driving this thing in and out of my own shed under its own steam. It's gonna be a massive milestone in the build. Also, I've got a few sneaky things up my sleeve for this episode, and this thing is gonna be looking like a complete car and quite a flash one at that. So stay tuned. This episode is gonna be jam-packed. It's gonna be a ripper. If I'm gonna get this M57 conversion finally complete, I've got a lot of jobs on my list. I've got to tidy up all this fuel hose, run my power cables over there, mount my battery and stuff. Got to plumb up the radiator. I've already done the power steering. There's heaps of little jobs like that in the button up that are gonna take a fair bit of time. I've called in a bit of help today. I've got Ash, the man, the myth, the legend from Fusion Fab here. He's driven all the way out from Victoria to give me a hand. And this is his Patrol. Work of art. But the best part is under here. Look at this. Beautiful. M57 Patrol running and driving. Doing like 11 litres per 100 on the way out from Victoria. That's what I'm really looking forward to. But have a look at this. It's almost like it's meant to be in there. We'll go over to the shed. And he's bought me some presents. This car's gonna come together very quickly now. Have a look at this. 4-inch stainless snorkel, big airbox, uses a 200 series paddle filter. Spot for the factory mouth. Beautiful work. This is my favorite one, this intercooler. It is massive. It's bigger than my house front door. I'm gonna put it all in here. Busy couple of days, but this thing is gonna be all plumbed up. I'm this far along in the build where the budget's totally blown, so little things like this. The aircon condenser, the old one actually did have a hole in it, so I did need to get a new one, but just look at this. It's much nicer and newer. Gonna go with the theme of the car very well. As I said, the budget's totally blown. That's why it's taking a little bit longer. I've got to save up between episodes to get all these shiny parts, but after seeing Ash's car and hearing it, I'm super keen to get mine driving. Check this out. This front mount intercooler from Fusion Fab. Work of art. Mounts to factory holes. You retain the factory aircon fan in behind there, so no aircon dramas. But this pipe work, look at that. Literally a work of art. Goes through the factory power steering holes. Runs parallel with everything. It's beautiful. That's the only way to describe it. And the size of this cooler, it's humongous. Still sits nice and tight back. Retaining all this. Obviously my auto cooler will go on behind this void when I get it. This doesn't come. I'll slip that in there. But yeah, making a bit of progress. Massive day in the shed with Ash. We got heaps of work smashed out. Intercoolers in, all plumbed up. Radiators in, nearly plumbed up, waiting on a couple of parts. Got this monster airbox in. There's a couple of things here actually. Don't tell Sean this, but I'll tell you guys, because I reckon the Nissan people watch this, not Toyota. This top radiator hose is out of a Petrol 80 series, and the filter in here is out of a 200 series batch. Keep that quiet from Sean. Anyway, we're making good progress here. Come with me and I'll show you what I'm gonna put on the car today. It's quite exciting. Come over here and look what I got. I called up my mate Rob from Razlar and he sent me a couple of care packages. In here is some new bar work for the GU. Now in this first box we got from Razlar, what we've got here is some brush bars and sliders. In this box we've got the rear bar for the car, all the accessories, the chainsaw rack, the swingaways. And in here, we've got the front bar for the car. How spoiled is the GU? All this Razlar bar work is all in box now and it looks super good. I'm gonna waste no time and get it put straight on. The bars all fitted up and the bolts are loosely done up on the car. Now it's time to put the swingaways on. Recently, all the Razar rear bars have gone through a bit of an update. They now run 45mm stubs and a forward bearing, so it's much more common. One thing I really like is these billet caps. These things are fully billet cap with a rubber O-ring, so there's not a chance any water's going to get in there with a seal on the bottom and O-ring on the top. Another thing that happened on all the Razor rear bar updates is new latches. I tell you what, I've run Razor rear bars before and the latches were okay, they did their job, but these new ones have gone above and beyond on the R&D. They're just so easy to use. They've got little billet handles and they've got spots for your fingers. The thing I really like about the new handle is there's no pinch point, so no matter who's using this, you don't have to worry about squashing your fingers at all. I've now got the left-hand wheel carrier on, and these things have also been updated. So now it's one carrier and you can fit it out however you like it. The new bolt-on jerry can and gas bottle holders are actually made of alloy, and it's not just to save weight, it's because when you got a jerry can or gas bottle on a corrugated road, it's going to bounce around and sliding in and out, it's going to rub through the powder coat. If it's steel, it's going to rust. These are alloy, so it's never going to rust even if you rub the powder coat off. Super smart design, and they're just so modular. You can unbolt them, slide them, however you want. The big Resler bar is on the front of the GU, and to be honest, I never really liked tube bars and GUs, but I think this has changed my mind. It looks super tough. I really like the infill panels with the dimple dies, and it's just a mad aggressive look. Real good approach angles on the side, and it's really close to the car, which is really good for Series 4s because they do stick out a fair bit on the front. Now, there's a couple of good features I really like about this Razor bar work, especially for a tube bar. This is quite rare. It's actually ADR approved. It's been crash and airbag tested, which is super good, totally legal. And you don't even have to cut the cross tubes off the front of your chassis, which you have to do for a lot of tube bars and GUs to make them work. So I'm super happy I didn't have to cut the car up. Now, time to fit a winch in here, and it's nearly time to go get stuck on the tracks. The EFS Recon winch is back in the new bar, fitted up super easy. To be honest, I was a bit worried about clearance because I got such a big intercooler and left the radiator fan there. But there's heaps of room, so that's perfect. I'm not gonna wire it up just quite yet because I'm still gonna put my auto cooler here, check what clearances I've got left, then I'll mount the control box and wire it up, but it's all fitted up, super easy. I've just whacked the car back up on the hoist. I've got a couple of jobs to do while it's up there. Brake lines, I've got one brake line to finish off and I've got to bleed the whole system, so that'll be a big job. Also, I've got to finally run the fuel pump wire properly. Had a couple of dramas with that, but I've got a zip tied up along the chassis. I'll tuck it in, put it back in the plug. You guys might remember last episode, I started making the dump pipe. Obviously it's driver side dumps, so I've got to make a crossover. And when I had all those starting issues with the car, I was a bit flustered, so I just left it and I'd forgotten about it. I just put it on the hoist to finish a couple of things and I thought, still got to finish the dump pipe. So I've tacked up this piece here, and I don't have a TIG weld in the shed, so tacks is going to be enough for today to get it started, but at least the soot will be flying out the back. Dump pipe is all tacked up for now. I use the MIG. It's not the prettiest thing, but it will do. While I'm under here though, I've got something to tell you guys. You can actually win a whole EFS MRP suspension kit at the moment, worth up to $5,000. Yeah, $5,000. The exact same stuff that I'm running in the GU. What you got to do is you got to jump on win.efsfullydrive.com.au, fill in all your details, so that you got to fill in your car type, your name, your email address, all that sort of stuff. So waste no time, because this is only running for 1 month. Anyway, I'm going to waste no time too. Going to get straight back into it. Time to put the battery in. I've actually just went and stole the battery out of my junker, because as you know, at the end of a build, you're over budget and things are getting expensive. So while it's in this bay, I'm just going to plumb everything up so later on it's ready for a drive. So I'm going to sit the battery in, put all the wires on it, and since I've just put a new battery in, best to see if the engine will start off it. I don't like how slow that's cranking. That was the exact same amount of earth as last time too though. Like, I didn't take any off. Fingers crossed. Why? Like, what's... I'm thinking it could be a bad earth that's stopping it from turning over. That battery literally started my other car this morning, so it can't be the battery. I can't see how it's this battery. And I can't see how it needs more earth. It literally has the same amount of earth as last time we started it. Oh, I was about to blow up and it was whining and I was about to stop and it fired. Thank goodness for that. So before I moved the car and put the interior back inside, I thought I'd just check it started before we moved it over and everything. And I thought it was the same problems last time. It wasn't cranking, and I went and pinched the battery out of my junker. I literally moved my junker before we started filming this morning, a couple of hours ago. Started that car fine. So I was thinking it's an earthing problem, thinking the security's gone off in the ECU again. I thought I'm gonna have to take the ECU up to Mitch and get it reflashed again, but I went and got the battery out of the D-Max, put that on the jumper leads, and it wound like a champion. Sheer happiness came on my face because I was thinking, someone can have this car, I'm done with it. I'm giving it away, I'm going inside. But, unless we know it starts, not going into gear yet, but that's a later on problem. Jack it up, maybe a bit more auto fluid, and see how we go. Just top the auto up again. I'll probably have to do this a couple of times, and then when it actually goes into gear, cycle it through the gears and get it up to running temp. Obviously, you've got to jack the car up because the fill point's at the back of the auto. You want that to be the highest point or level. This is the moment of truth. Will it get drive? There's been a couple of moments of no drive, so hold on to your hats and watch that wheel. Ha-ha! This is the GU's first drive in the air. Small steps, guys, small steps. This is actually a very exciting thing. Another job ticked off the list. The auto is now full. We jacked it up, we ran it up, we got it up to temp, we ran it through all the gears, forward, reverse. It's now ready to go, ready for a drive, some would say. But before I do that, I'm gonna whack the sliders on, brush bars on, and then there's one job I forgot. The car's got no interior, so I'm gonna need an interior before I drive it. Got some seats to put in, new floor to put in, and maybe then we'll be driving it out of the shed. To get the interior in, I needed to move it back off the hoist. So this is the perfect excuse for my first drive of the GU, but it didn't exactly go to plan. This could be wild, hopefully it stops. Oh, that's driving through the brakes. Is that about it? Oh, oh shit. I pulled the shifter out of the bloody thing. That was fully on the brakes. Did that wreck my wall? How am I gonna go back from that? That's in park now. Oh, that was stressful. I need to go back a tiny bit more, don't I? Far out. Oh. Oh. I'm just gonna turn it off at this point in time. That was hectic. What did I do? Did I wreck my wall? I turned it off as it did. Don't show people that. That shifter's so touchy, and then when I yanked on the shifter, it pulled it out of its mount. That's what, because I was like, whoa, I pulled it back and it broke. And that was with me fully on the brake. Obviously the brake's even more bleeding and it's in low range, so I just drove through the brake. Far out. That's hectic.
You might not know, but Snatch actually started in my shed. I wanted a brand that really identified us as four-wheel drivers. I wanted to be able to walk into a pub and someone sees that logo and says, that bloke must be a passionate four-wheel driver. Now it's grown so much over the years. We've got whole new ranges for men, women, children. Come and have a look at the bonnet here of my four-wheel drive. Now I've got a stack of stuff in. You haven't seen our board shorts, our work range gear. There's a whole stack of new designs that keep coming and getting uploaded on the website. Not to mention bags, recovery gear, camping gear, you name it, we've got it for you guys. So jump onto fourwheeldrive247.com to see the full range.
Next job on the list is put the vinyl flooring in. And then I'm gonna whack the seats in. Now, it's something that's often overlooked in modified four-wheel drives, and I'm guilty for it myself. I've never actually upgraded seats. But this being a touring vehicle I'm building it into and the job I'm in, I'm probably gonna spend more time in this seat than I do on the couch inside. So I want it to be comfy. I've gone with a set of Stratos seats for the front of the GU. Obviously they've got adjustable lumbar support. They've got bolt-in rails to suit the GU, which is just nice and easy really for install. Something quite special about these though, have a look around the back here. They're not just any old seat, they're actually a suspension seat, quite similar to what you see in trucks and earth moving equipment. Obviously, I'm no stranger to earth moving equipment. It was my job once upon a time. So this is just gonna make those big, long days on big whoopee corrugated roads just so much nicer. So I'm gonna waste no time, get these in the GU. I'm actually super keen to sit on these and try them out. Now these seats are just a multi-fit seat. You find them in machinery, cars, trucks, anything you can think of really. But the best thing about Stratos is they've got brackets to suit four-wheel drive. So most of your main makes and models, here's the Patrol bolt-in one, 2 runners, and they've got a couple of crossbars. starting to look pretty smicko. Just about to bolt the seats in, but before I do, I've got one little thing to put on. Cap Industries fire extinguisher mounts. Here's one I've got ready to go on the passenger side. The fire extinguisher mounts to the bracket here, and that mounts to factory bolt holes. Nice and handy to get to. It's quite safe, and it's really cheap insurance to carry one of these in any car really, especially a project car that I've done some of the wiring and fuel lines in. So before I bolt the seats in, I'll sit this on there, line up with the holes, bolt it on, and hopefully I don't have to use it. It's time. Time for the first drive. Here we're going to put my seatbelt on, just in case. Interior's done, I've got new seats, new flooring, pretty much everything on this car is new. It's been a big journey. If you haven't watched from the start, I stripped this down to a bare chassis. So there's no reason when I start this, it shouldn't be able to drive out on its own steam. So without any further ado, let's see how we go. Fingers crossed. We've got reverse. Wow. Out of the shed under its own steam. This is exciting. Oh, it wants to go fast, you can tell. This is so cool. Well, as you guys can probably tell, I'm absolutely stoked. As I said, months ago, before I even had grass in my backyard, I started rebuilding this car. Full chassis up build. I'm cheering. I just took it for its first drive. It's been a fight, but I'm that close to having this thing on the road now. Oh, all that hard work is totally worth it. I'm almost emotional. It's been a big project. I got no words. I'm just really excited. Moments like this, your first drive of a big project out of your shed under its own steam, I've forgotten about before. It makes it all worth it, I'll tell you what. Oh, I'm keen to drive this thing properly. Far out. The Patrol GU's first washdown in a long time. And one thing I've sort of been in denial about this whole build is I can just polish this car up and the paint's gonna be good. But now it's pretty much brand new from the chassis up, even the bar work is all brand new now. I really think I'm gonna have to paint it. This paint isn't the best, so I'm gonna throw to you guys. Should I paint it, and what color do you reckon I should paint it? Because I've actually got a driver's side snorkel to go on, which means I've got a new guard and it's actually silver. So I'm gonna have to paint it anyway. Do I paint it white? I do love my white four-wheel drives. They're nice and easy to keep clean, don't scratch in the bush, but this is a pretty crazy build. So should I go a pretty crazy color? What do you reckon? Well, it's quite a surreal feeling. I just looked at a photo on my phone of this thing sitting as a bare chassis here before I even had my yard done. It was dirt. And now it's a complete car again. So I've obviously still got a few more finishing touches to do. I reckon there's gonna be one last GU episode. I've got a nice driver's side snorkel to go on, a few interior bits and pieces, but also, is there anything you guys reckon I should do in the last episode to the GU? Throw them in the comments, I'll have a read, and who knows, you might even see me doing it in the next episode. Anyway, for now, I might start this thing up and just drive it back in the shed just because I can, but I'll see you in the next step.